Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Cancer energy, and like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Cancer energy, the bottom row a more worldly, shadowy energy, because we all have our dualistic nature, and our more worldly nature can be our more immature, prideful, egotistical, insecure, codependent, lazy, egotistical, the list goes on, nature. So regardless, this isn't a personal reading, so it's just in general for people. We all do have our shadowy nature, and life's about learning lessons. Some people are kind of enlightened to more truths and more emotionally mature than other people, so they're kind of moving forward in a more high vibrational Cancer energy than some other people in the world. Shadowy Cancer can be people who use their emotions manipulatively in a relationship because they don't really haven't learned to love themselves, maybe to be more authentic and loving, and learning to become yourself and love yourself can take the first 3-4 decades of your life. And other people purposely use their emotions shadowy or manipulatively because they don't really want to do love. Then you're kind of more emotionally invested. And some people don't want to do that. If they get emotionally invested, then they could get hurt. So some people will be in relationships for decades and they didn't really emotionally invest in it. That is people who are kind of indulging themselves in a relationship for as long as it benefits them. And if people in high vibe energy realize that they're being kind of just more indulgent in the relationship and it doesn't seem to become a more deep, meaningful, authentic, loving relationship, eventually those people are probably going to leave that relationship. Or if they feel like people are trying to emotionally manipulate them or use the love that you have for them to try to treat you and act in shadowy ways, And love is to be just and fair. You're supposed to treat other people the way you like to be treated. But we got lessons to learn in life, and we can indulge people in their poor behavior for quite a long time. It's kind of like extending grace to people, hoping one day that they'll kind of grow up and mature themselves or deal with their fears or their insecurities. And, eventually, if they keep not making the free will choice to be more just and fair and authentic and act with character and integrity or whatever, eventually some high vibe people are going to leave those jobs, those friendships, those workplaces. Anyway, some people could be battling within themselves. They might like to move forward in life differently. But when we're going to move forward in life differently, we might change some habits, some people that we're hanging out with, and that can be hard. High vibe energy is about speaking your truth, standing in your truth, being more independent, and that can be difficult. So, let's look at the bottom row. The Two of Cups, Cancer energy. We have the Four of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, and the Emperor. So, again, in the first several decades of our life, we're kind of really motivated and inspired by the world, and we kind of think we're the boss, and we're sure, these things that we want to go invest in emotionally, they're going to make us happy. And so we go invest in those things. We think it's just and fair. Libra energy. Some people could have gotten in relationships with a Libra, or you could have just gotten in relationships with people thinking you were on the same page, that you both were in agreement on what you thought was just and fair in the world. But one person could be more independent in how they view life. They're not, have a little more hope and faith and belief and love instead of being in a mental prison. And one person could have been a little bit more in a mental prison about things that still manipulate them, and they're not so independent. And then if one person kind of has healed from some more past pain, heartbreak, self-limiting beliefs than someone else, well, then that person can kind of be fearful in the relationship because it's kind of like you're maybe more bold and brave and confident than they are in your Aries energy. And you could be ready to move forward in life in a more hopeful, believing energy. And they could have fear of doing that. They might not be as independent as you are, just even in the world. They could be more aligned with their more worldly nature. Where I thought one person's truth could have been, we're going to be in this relationship. We're both going to heal from past pain and heartbreak. We're both going to become more independent of the past. We're going to work through our fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs to take more bold, brave, confident action in our life, to grow up and mature ourselves, to grow to our full potential and move forward in life. And other people were like, what? I thought when we got in the relationship, we were both kind of more maybe about the world, and we thought it was just and fair to move forward in a more worldly view of life and make those things of the world more important and maybe make our life more about living from our mind and looking like a boss in the world. And I thought we were going to stay like right here and do this like forever. But part of life is where you keep healing and growing and maturing yourself and hopefully freeing yourself from some of your fears and insecurities and letting the world manipulate you, letting your ego manipulate you, letting other people in your life manipulate you, and being more independent. But that isn't how some people view life. I might be single, but I'm kind of in a mental prison about being more bold and brave and authentic in my life. I'm kind of more I just thought I'd get in a relationship. And then I thought everything would be good and we could do this. And there could just be things, we'll see when we get to the top row. They could have other people in their life, that they love also. Could be family members, their original family, could be a friend group. And it's like, of course, I can't marry those people, some of them. And I'm single and I want to be in a relationship with someone, but I still think it's kind of just and fair for me also to kind of align with these people. And they're kind of a primary foundation in my life. And I am single to get in a relationship, but I have a lot of fear and insecurity of becoming more independent of that foundation to like create a new foundation. Even though I might marry you and have kids with you, I still really am very much aligned with either my worldly nature or other people in my life as kind of like a core foundation. You are kind of like the third party. Because I can't marry those people, but they, some people are like that. Their primary foundation is their original family and their friend group, and they never become independent of that foundation to actually move forward and live their own authentic life, which is high vibe energy. Well, I just thought we could get in a relationship and I could still have my main loyalty to them. And because I'm in a mental prison of becoming independent of them, I just thought you'd stay in a mental prison with me and let those people be like a third party in our life. Well, love and intuition is supposed to be the third party in your life. And if you're going to like get in a more involved relationship with people and, where they're like your partner, they're supposed to be the primary foundation in your life. And we kind of could realize that some people have a lot of fear of being more independent. Other people align with living more from their mind than their heart. And they can get in a relationship with someone who's more aligned with their creative, inspired, more independent nature, who's loving and bold and brave enough to do love. And then there's a problem in the relationship because one person kind of wants to operate more from their mind than their heart, like a self-protective nature. The other person wants to do love. One person's up in a mental prison about love, and the other person's focused on love. Well, what we think is just and fair is different. What we love is different. How we want to operate in the world is different. And sometimes when you kind of get in a mismatched relationship and someone still hasn't healed, they might try to present themselves. Oh no, I've healed. Oh no, I'm ready to move forward in a relationship. But they really haven't, because anybody can try to create the illusion that they're more stable and grounded and mature than they really are. And then as you go through the relationship, you realize these things that manipulate them. And part of what can manipulate them is just maybe being more balanced within themselves. They could either go back and forth, and one day to the next, you don't know if they're going to be more loving and more independent, or the next day they're going to be up in their head, or they just kind of wear two masks in a way where, present themselves one way, but really they live more from their mind than their heart. And if you want to move forward in life differently, they could really have a problem with that. And that's sometimes when you can see someone's shadowy nature come out. Shadowy emperor can be someone who's trying to control you. This is where I stay, and that's where you should stay. We're both staying. And it's like, why? Why aren't we continuing to grow and heal and mature ourselves? Because I don't want to do that. That's not how I view life. I don't think I have to. I think this is just and fair. We should do this. And that's, high vibe energy is being free to live your authentic life and heal and grow and mature yourself to grow to your full potential. Some other people might look and have decided what they want to do in life, and that's how they're living their life, and then they think other people should come into their life and make their life about their life. But I am my own unique person that has my own unique talent, skills, and interest, and love is supposed to be working together cooperatively and encouraging each other to grow to your full potential. But they might not like that. You should maybe make your life more about me. So that can all cause problems in a relationship. And there might be people that you love and have love for, but that is kind of how they live their life. Just like you've been in situations like that, other people could currently be in situations like that. Are we, in our fiery nature, inspired to grow and heal and mature ourselves and become more independent from our own shadowy nature and more independent in the world? Some people aren't. So some people harness a more high vibe Aries energy. Some people harness a more worldly, shadowy Aries energy. And again, shadowy energy can be trying, if you're not being truthful and honest and authentic and just and fair, you could think that it should be more about you and Aries energy that people can harness regardless of what zodiac sun sign they are. Could think it should be more about them, because Aries energy in shadow, well, it is about the self in general, and in shadow, it can be people who are more about themselves and like, I have this idea of what is just and fair. We should do it this way. Well, when you're working with other people, you need to compromise, and not everybody is going to get everything the way they want it. And they're in relationships with other people who have their own dreams and motivations and aspirations. And some people don't like to be in a relationship with those kind of people. And if you become that type of person during the course of that relationship, they don't like that you've become that type of person. And it could kind of put them in a mental prison because you, somewhere in the process, the Emperor is about making decisions in your life. You decided to maybe offer love to yourself to heal from some of your past pain and heartbreak, self-limiting beliefs, to be more confident within yourself and love yourself and independent of some things that used to manipulate you. And when you got in the relationship originally, you both could have been in the process of needing to heal. It's just that you could have done the work in the relationship to heal from some of those issues, and the other person was still more focused on these things of the world and maybe their stability and their security than putting in work and effort to heal from some of their past pain and heartbreak. So one person, again, put more work and effort to have these things. Another person is abundant in different ways. They're more healed, insightful, independent. The other person is abundant more in things of the world. And some people, that is the type of relationship they want to be in. I think if I do put this work and effort to have these things in the world, or I'm attractive, or I have social clout, I got money, whatever I got, that then I think the way they can view life, their view of life and what they think is just and fair, I'll get in a relationship with someone who's abundant in love. I have these things of the world, they're abundant in love, because the Nine of Pentacles can talk about being abundant in some way, that people view you as someone people would like to be in a relationship with. Well, people can want to be in relationships with loving, abundant people, or they can want to be in a relationship with people who got money and status or whatever. It's really trying to find a balance between the two. But that's what some people could think. You're supposed to be in a mental prison about believing you can manifest your dreams into reality, because I have these things of the world, you have love. And you might, up here we have the Five of Pentacles. We can all have felt left out in the cold, and the reason for the top rose reading is the Two of Swords. We can feel kind of stuck. We went to go invest in something that we thought was going to move forward, and it didn't work out the way we wanted. And everybody at one point in time could have kind of felt left out in the cold and was healing. And then in the Chariot, as we're moving forward in life, we see other people who are single. There's things about us, things about them that kind of draw us to each other. And it could kind of be these opposite kind of things. High vibe loving people are looking for people who seem stable and grounded and emotionally mature. That's normally what high vibe Nine of Pentacles would talk about. But shadowy energy can be where people are kind of creating an illusion about who they are. Some people could have been kind of financially stable and grounded, but maybe not very balanced from a place of love, kind of out of balance, operating more from ego. Whether they're male or female, there can be people who have stability and security, or they seem loving, but they're kind of bossy or controlling or egotistical or self-centered or immature, right? Other people could be a little bit more loving and hoping to work it out, and it doesn't quite work out the way we thought. One person wants to move forward. The other person's in a mental prison about that. Okay. Let's take a little break there. So one person is kind of motivated and inspired to maybe move forward, and the other person's a little bit more in a mental prison. The loving people could encourage them in the Knight of Wands and the Nine of Cups to have some hope and faith and belief in love. That's my truth. Isn't that your truth? And then some other people could be in a mental prison about making that decision. And there could be people in your life that as you got out of some relationships and were moving forward, then you could have thought, wait a minute, maybe there's people in my life who are kind of more on the same page as me, and I'll go communicate with them before I keep moving forward. And then you could have communicated with some people and they could have been moving forward in their life when you communicated with them in however they're living their life. And then it could have made them have to really think and work through some of their fears and insecurities about, who am I hanging out with? Who am I living my life with? Am I in a mismatched relationship? Am I willing to be more independent? And some of the people in your life are going to move forward with you in this way. And you're both willing to be independent and speak your truth and listen to your intuition as you move forward. Now, as you're moving forward in your life and you communicate with some other people, I think, high vibe people aren't operating from their ego. They don't have a problem communicating with people some of the lessons that they've learned. And basically, I don't want to move forward where I'm kind of indulging someone in their more immature ideas of the Page of Swords about what it means to be in a relationship. I want people who indulge their more hopeful, believing nature, and that would be like high vibe Page of Swords, not more immature, worldly Page of Swords. And because some of the people that you might have communicated with, they can be in the top row just because they're people in your life, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're in high vibe energy. You could view them as people who are in high vibe energy, but even if they are in high vibe energy or not, they kind of got to work through their own fears and insecurities. Like, is this someone who I think is on the same page as me? Do I think we're both healed? Do I think we're both stable and grounded within ourselves? Do I think we're both making good decisions in our life? Or do I think this person might be, if anyone communicates with you and people you communicate with, we've got to go through this thought process. It's kind of like listening. The Eight of Swords you could look at also is just about this last two swords. There's a maximum of 10. There's a lot of things that we're on the same page with. Truth 1, truth 2, truth 3, up to 8. In a lot of ways, up to 8 swords of truth, I agree with you. I think we're kind of on the same page, maybe. But then it's those last two swords, which also is Libra energy, just about what we think is just and fair and what our truth is. And high vibe people are communicating to people. I'm listening to my intuition about people I get in a relationship with, and I want to be in a relationship with people who aren't clinging to the past or got loyalty to some other foundation in their life. They are ready to move forward in an energy of love. They have seen the truth that if I make my life more about these other things or myself or blah, 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 have they seen the truth of it? It's not supposed to be more about them. The scales are not supposed to be tipped in their favor in a relationship. Some people that you could communicate with are single. Well, and we'd hope they're single, right? But still, they could kind of think it's just and fair, maybe more to be more about themselves a little bit. Kind of like present themselves as loving. That would be a shadowy Chariot. The Chariot is Cancer energy. They present themselves as loving in the world, but it is kind of, and in a lot of ways they can be loving, but do they authentically invest in love in a relationship? And high vibe people are like, I've already indulged some people that wanted to live more from their mind than their heart, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be in relationships with people who are bold and brave enough to go with the flow and let love and intuition guide them, and are willing to do love in a just and fair, balanced way. But the reason they're in the relationship and want to be in the relationship isn't more about the ego and the image or the status or indulgence. It's from a foundation of being in a relationship with someone you love and that loves you. And some people could be wondering, I wonder if I were to make them an offer, if I could just be the next person they indulge in and indulge me. If they're not indulging someone else, maybe they'll indulge me. Well, I think you've already communicated your truth to some people, and some of those people would maybe like to be in a relationship with you, but they also kind of have some fears about authentically investing in love. And you're standing your ground and listening to your intuition. And you could have communicated with people, and then you're listening to your intuition, maybe here kind of waiting. I think this would be someone I would like to be in a relationship with. And I'm kind of waiting for them to work through their issues to see if they want to move forward with me in that way. And then, it kind of can keep us in a little bit of a shadowy energy, because shadowy energy is kind of stagnant, dead energy. There's nothing happening. And the whole thing is, listening to our intuition. If we communicate our truth to some people, we're kind of waiting for them to bring it into the 3D world. That's what the Pentacles can talk about. And if they're not doing that, then we need to detach, is what the Five of Pentacles can talk about. Apparently, I have to deal with the truth. I can't keep staying in stagnant energy. So from the Five of Pentacles down to the One Pentacle, it's letting go of the Four of Pentacles, a foundation we wanted to hold on to, that we felt we could have moved forward with because we thought they move forward in the energy of love. And some of those people do move forward in the energy of love. But when you communicated with someone, they had already moved forward in maybe a high vibe relationship. And it's like, sorry, I wanted to talk to you to see what happened and what had gone on in your life, but I'm already in a high vibe relationship. And I wouldn't get out of that high vibe relationship unless I were to indulge myself in my shadowy nature. And high vibe people don't want someone to come towards them in their shadowy nature. But some of those people you could have communicated with, if it is someone that you know from your past, they've kind of healed from the past. They were single and independent. They could have worked through some of their fears and insecurities, gotten a new relationship. And some of those people, could respond to your reaching out, but it's just to encourage you to keep moving forward and loving and believing yourself. Glad that you got out of what manipulated you. Same way, if you're moving forward and someone communicates with you, you might be glad they got out of whatever manipulated them. But, some of you have already moved on in new relationships, or you're just not the same person that you were before. And, it's kind of like learning these lessons in life. We get in a relationship if we're not willing to put in the work together to keep turning pages, to stay on the same page of learning and growing and maturing and learning lessons together. We separate ways, and one person kind of keeps moving forward in the direction they were moving, and the other person was kind of still on the same page. And then by the time they learn that lesson and want to communicate with you, just like sometimes you communicate with other people, it's like, sorry, I'm already like 4 pages ahead of life. We're just looking for people who are on the same page at the same time. But I think as you keep moving forward, all we can do is speak our truth, be loving and encouraging, and then we let it go. and we let people do what they do, and we don't get caught up in our head about it. We keep choosing love. We keep moving forward, not letting something that's not even in reality like bog us down. And, being inspired to keep loving and believing our own inner child nature and having hope and faith and belief in our dreams and listening to our intuition. And as we move forward, if we've moved forward in new friendships, relationships, or jobs or not, we're going to meet more. The divine has more people that we're going to meet, And we could even look at, the Knight of Wands would be sent by the King of Wands or an Emperor. What drives and motivates us is kind of the true Emperor of the universe, inspiring us to love and believe in ourselves and maintain our independence. Don't take your time to heal, to invest in yourself, work through the fact that certain people that you wanted to have in relationship with you aren't in relationship with you. Keep being motivated and inspired by truth and love, and keep moving forward in that energy. There will be other people you will meet in the world. Some of them are kind of immature and indulgent. People you've known from the past, people that you meet that want to come back or be the next person to indulge them in a relationship. And I think, and other people are inspired, independent, and authentic. And you're just going to listen to your intuition about who's who. What's coming up for some high vibe Cancers that they might not see coming? The Three of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Eight of Cups. There's going to be people that want to work together with you and move forward with you. Why? Because you're not someone like in the Seven of Cups energy. The Eight of Cups walks away from the Seven of Cups, and the Eight of Cups walks to the Nine of Cups. You're not someone who tries to emotionally confuse people about the truth. You're not emotionally confused. You offer people love. You know how to love yourself. You know how to offer love to other people. And it's emotionally fulfilling to be in a relationship with you because you've healed. You don't have this idea that just because you're single, you want to just go indulge in any old type of relationship like some people might be doing. You want to be in a relationship, loving and believing in yourself, speaking your truth, looking to find people who are really on the same page as you. And you're going to detach from people who are more about the things of the world and move forward with the people in your life who you think are more independent, loving, authentic, and walk away from people in your life who might want to be in a relationship with you, but you think they're kind of superficial, not who they say they are, immature, self-indulgent, defensive, immature in their thinking, logic, and reasoning, kind of more about themselves, more about the world. And you only want to move forward with people who aren't aligned with that more shadowy way of living life. So as you're moving forward, some other people got to go find someone else to go get in a relationship with because you're not willing to indulge them. So they'll go find someone else in the world who could be a loving person, just isn't someone who doesn't know the truth of who they are. They'll go try to find someone who doesn't know the truth of who they are. You already know the truth about people like that and some of these people in your life, and you're happy to be independent of them. And then these people will go off in the world and other people will learn lessons from them and decide, am I willing to stay in a relationship with someone who is kind of immature and indulgent and maybe bossy and controlling? Or is that not my truth either? And I'm going to tell them, sorry, I've seen the truth. Get out of my way. I'm moving forward. And then they'll have to go find someone else to go get in a relationship with. What's coming up for some people who harness some worldly, shadowy Cancer energy that they might not see coming up? The Six of Wands. Why? Because of the Seven of Swords. When there's people being kind of shadowy in a relationship, and some of the shadowy people you know are being shadowy in another relationship, they're always going to have some high vibe people in their life that do love and believe in themselves, that aren't more motivated by ego and image and money and materialism, who listen to their intuition, that these people aren't who they say they are, that they're kind of being a little deceptive and manipulative, that they are, the shadowy people are more motivated by ego and image or being indulged. And the other people listen to their intuition and they move on from them. And just like some of you kind of got out of your ego about some people you loved and realized, you know what, they're just too bossy, too controlling, too manipulative, too deceptive, too immature. You know, if they're family, I'll see you at Christmas, but, you know, I really don't care to spend that much time with you. And other people that were romantic potential interests, it's like, I can't live my life like this. If you want to make your life about that, you go ahead. I want to be in a more, not making my life so much about those things of the world or just about you. And just like you've done that, other people are doing that right now in some relationships. Being inspired by love to keep having hope and faith and belief in their dreams, realizing their dream cannot come into reality with some of the people they're hanging out with. And those people could be the people that you meet. And just like when you got out of your relationship and you're moving forward, you know, there's other people that have always moved on ahead of us that are looking for other people to get out of these kind of mismatched relationships. Just like employers that have good employees that an employee left, but other employees are staying in a job where people are acting in these kind of more immature ways of being. It's like, when are some of those good employees going to leave those jobs to come over here and work for us, you know? And it's the same way in relationships. When are other people going to get out of their more mismatched relationships? I got out. I'm looking for someone who's kind of learned those same lessons, you know? And we're going to meet people, and we're going to be people that are going to encourage other people in the world to love and believe in themselves. And if the shadowy people keep being shadowy, kind of, eventually, you know, they're going to have other people want to be in a relationship with them. But if they keep trying to manipulate loving people, people inspired by love, those people are eventually going to listen to their intuition, and the same thing's going to happen again. And the people who might end up staying in a relationship with them are people who are like them in some way. I have fear of loving and believing in myself too. Yeah, I'll stay in a relationship with you. It'll look victorious and successful by worldly standards. I won't be single, I'll be in a relationship. And some people, that is a really big thing for them, just to be in a relationship. Look like I've moved on. Look like I've healed. Look like I've changed. But they're the exact same person they were in the last relationship, or they're in codependent energy. Or this would make me look like a shining star. You know, someone has status or image. Yeah, I'll indulge you in your ego for your money, male or female. I want those things. I really don't want to do love. The loving people weren't willing to indulge me in my poor behavior. I was moving forward with some loving people, and they wanted me to stop being immature. And they weren't willing to indulge me anymore. They wanted to be in relationships with people who were independent of their more immature nature. I still have some lessons to learn. I still kind of deceive myself about what it means to be in a loving relationship. Do you still have confusion about what it means to be in a loving relationship? Me too. Let's get in one, and we're on the same page. Or we both like to live more from our mind than our heart. Or we're more driven by ego and image. You know, that would be a just and fair relationship. High vibe people want to be in relationships with people who are more independent. I view shadowy, the Three of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. Shadowy Capricorn is represented by the devil. being caught up in all these things of the world, are more immature, indulgent, codependent, whatever nature. High vibe people want to be in relationships with people who have freed themselves from their more worldly, immature nature, at least to the same degree they have. And they were previously in relationships with people who weren't as free from some things or as emotionally mature as they tried to present themselves as being. And they're looking to find the people who are on the same page as them. And if some of you, you're already moving forward in those new relationships, for others, you're continuing to move forward, independent, happy, standing in your truth, going on this journey, waiting to see what the divine has in store for you. Other people, because they want to look a certain way or indulge themselves in a relationship, could be getting in relationships that aren't aligned with their truth. But because of all these things that manipulate them, they can get in relationships and just be deceptive and manipulative again, or just indulge themselves in a relationship again. So there you go, Cancer energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.